all good. Yeah, you're going to see me like this on this episode. Yeah, the hat, the glasses. Can't see these eyes. It's Chris Gotti Lorenzo. You know what I'm saying? With my partner, Don Dinero.
Hola, you already know.
We have our guest today. You know what I'm saying? Came in, appreciate you making the rounds. Manny, the infused chef. He has a company called Delicias.
That's right, my man, Manny.
Delicias
For
the people. Give him a round of applause.
Delicias for the people. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy that, now, talking to Manny right here, so, definitely if he was on Adventist,
this is really the Cuban Connection.
He'd be Latin Division, and he's definitely Cuban Connection because he's Cuban from the Heights, so it's crazy. But it's a pleasure to have you here, Manny, definitely. And we're discussing, you gave yourself the title as Manny, the infused chef, and off camera we were discussing that in this new era.
That's right.
There's been a ton of new words, vocabulary thrown of us that we use every day like it's nothing that we didn't before, from the words like Instagram, Facebook, right?
That's right.
Everything that's
Amazon.
happening from a legalization standpoint when it comes to cannabis, marijuana, weed, call it what you want to call it. We discuss religion and conservatism where before...
We're going to touch on that.
I'm just saying we smoked, right? So, you coming now and you're titling yourself the infused chef because you're basically infusing food.
Correct.
With a little touch of that, what I call squeaky.
I want to explain that process. Like, how did you come about thinking about that? This market, of course, we had a whole episode about the legalization of cannabis and now the growing market, the size it is. And these are new areas, let's call it new markets, actually. Right. This is a new market to actually expand into the legalization of cannabis. Correct. So explain what gave you that kind of idea and to do this.
So we started... when I say we, I mean me and my staff. My staff consists of my wife, which would be my sous chef, right?
Sure.
Official
it's
kitchen.
Your family business. I love
sous chef. She's my right hand. That's my rock.
That's what's up.
And then I have my nephew, who's also one of the sous chefs. He's phenomenal. He's the one responsible for the cake that you're getting so many accolades in here.
Oh yeah, Dex is still eating that cake now.
So years ago, we saw this opportunity to help people, and people were benefiting from edibles. My wife and I are both medical marijuana patients, and prior to that, my wife was taking tramadol, painkillers.
So if I asked you, because you mentioned that, I always like to keep things clear for a listener or viewer that's watching this. When you say your patients, what kind of issues, if you don't mind, that made you fit under a patient to be?
So I have chronic pain. I had a motorcycle accident. If you get it on camera,
I got
a huge scar here. I went down on 85th and Kennedy on my Gixxer about 13 years ago. And, just ongoing issues like herniated discs. I had hematoma in my back, trouble sleeping and PTSD, that kind of thing.
Right.
And that's what qualifies me. My wife, on the other hand, has bursitis and some other back pain and vertebrae issues.
Sure.
And so painkillers, opiates, were
deteriorating.
And
they're too dangerous.
Yeah, they were being prescribed, but they weren't good for you.
Right.
They're not good for your body.
They mess up your stomach, your
liver, kidneys.
And so
is the key to it.
She stumbled upon cannabis. I've been using cannabis since I was young, but I had a huge break because of my own stigmas and paradigms. I come from a very conservative Christian family and Christian background. And even though it was in the hood where I grew up, it was frowned upon.
How difficult is that? Since you brought that up, like from a religion standpoint, and you're saying it was, it's frowned upon.
Right.
You gotta smoke a fat one in the parking lot before you go to church, bro.
Yeah.
Well, smoking at the crib. Smoking at the crib. Well, because see, I look at it this way. I know that cannabis is not wrong for me, and I know that opioids and antidepressants are not right for me or anyone, or for mostly anyone else.
That's right.
Now, I'm not going to go against, the whole pharmaceutical community because that's kind of like suicide, right? But I would say people can benefit tremendously from this product naturally and not have all
the side effects and all the stuff
that come with the pharmaceuticals.
When I think so,
drugs.
I'm a non-user. I know I put the hat and the glasses on just for the cameras right now, but at the end of the day, I don't smoke, I don't drink. It's all social. You gave me a little tea. I drank some of the tea, but again, I didn't feel anything from it. But at the end of the day, when I say that is, how do you, because again, opioids, negative. We know this. This is a proven fact. How do you make it where the public, the consumer understands that this cannabis, this CBD, what's the other one? THC. I never heard of anyone overdosing on it. I have never heard being someone, let's say, even addicted to it in that sense.
Right.
I don't believe there's any case studies to prove against what I'm saying. So it's like, how do you make sure that these people that are conservative, your family that's coming from these churches, realize that they was allowing I'm sure your aunties and uncles or grandparents to take opioids, but
painkillers,
and they didn't look down on it. Why? Because it came from a doctor with a prescription. But today you could get your prescribed for medical use. Right? That's what you said earlier. So what's the difference?
I think the question now is what you're saying is, how do we inform people and educate our people? And that's where we come in. We hold monthly events. Bi-weekly, we'll have infused dinners, we call them.
Yeah.
And at these infused dinners, we show people, just like you had a light lemonade, which was very enjoying.
It tasted great, just so you know.
You're not having a bad experience.
And it didn't look like lemonade, which was the reason I wanted to drink it right away. It didn't look like it. You said, here's lemonade, and it's brown. It looked like iced tea, maybe.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute. He said lemonade.
So it's a lemonade because it has a combination of freshly organic squeezed lemons and, organic lemons, not organically squeezed.
Yes.
But there's some raw organic honey in there. And there's also ACV, apple cider vinegar.
Yes.
So those type of products have been proven scientifically to help with the gut biome.
That's right.
And that's something that we like to do, is we like to bring science together with what we do so that people can enjoy and benefit from our products.
Man,
so
that's great.
Basically, it's all about informing and educating one another. So we're inviting people to our events. If you can have a family member who's an elder or not so old, it's not about age, but someone who doesn't know about this subject.
Not educated.
Right. They're not well informed. We're more than happy to sponsor their ticket to our dinner so that we can educate them and so that they can see that in this ambiance, it's not what the news or what maybe social media or mainstream media and propaganda has made us out to seem. Cannabis consumers are not monsters. We're not gangsters. We're not bad people. You know what I mean?
But,
Anyone
I love that.
But what we have done at times is the babies have gotten up in the morning and there's no Captain Crunch left.
Because at the night you ate all the snacks.
The munchies.
And I'm not a big eater. This shirt.
Look, he said I'm not a big eater.
This shirt's
a little swole today.
It's the shirt.
He did abs
shirt
today,
is cut.
so
This
he's
is
swole.
your Euro shirt.
Chris,
Yeah,
he did.
small.
Hey, he did abs today. So he's swole.
I'm bloated. I drank some soda, so I'm bloated.
Oh my God.
No, but in all seriousness,
You know, I always say
whenever
whenever I go to look, your name is Manny the Infused Chef, and whenever I go to a restaurant, if I see a heavy guy, I always look at what they're eating, because I say trust the fat guy, because they know what the fuck to eat.
He knows what to eat.
And again, I swear to you, rule of thumb, whenever I did it, they always pick the best thing on the menu. They know what it is. So it makes sense. You're making the stuff that you love to consume as well.
Right, correct.
And it fits the people because they're going to enjoy it. And that's what it's about, right? It's about actually having a purpose from a health benefit as well as enjoying yourself from let's say, a higher side, right? To get high.
Elevated,
an elevated state of mind,
there
let's say. So, yeah, that's what it's about, and that's what the infusion is about. How long ago did you start?
We've been doing this for 6 years.
6 years.
In the beginning, I started by myself. My wife was not with it.
This is, so 6 years ago was before
legalization
occurred.
It was sharing cannabis amongst other patients.
It was like private. It was private.
It was private. You could book us privately for an infused snack, an infused dinner, an infused lunch, an infused event with you, family members, and like-minded
And
persons.
Manny, can you say you at that moment you were just, because me and Chris always say this, you were trying shit.
it. You didn't know if it was going to work. You just tried it.
Because when I listen to you speak on, we also have an old school saying from back in the day that you've heard that we utilize with Adventure Music, that we say, an educated consumer is our best customer.
Of course.
Right?
And
So
that's what you're doing.
Yeah, but my question to you is, if you started 6 years ago, I'm pretty sure you've had to learn and educate yourself.
Of course.
How to cook these things. I'm pretty sure you, excuse my French, you fucked up a bunch of batches,
whole bunch of batches.
Because that's part of the cooking process.
Part of the process.
Thousands and thousands of dollars of losses, yes.
Well, never losses, lessons, right? Lessons. Because you were basically, instead of paying for a school, you paid yourself. And then you've become what I would consider, say, a master infused chef, right? Where if you're out there being able to educate others, then, and you should think about hosting cooking classes. That'll be fucking dope.
Let's do that.
I thought about, I'm just saying that's something that.
Well, on ClashTV, we do live, right? We have a live component called ClashTV, and that might be a great show for ClashTV.
Well, you could just be you with a kitchen, and you say, hey, look, today I'm going to show you how to do brownies.
Yes.
Right? You feel me? Blase, blase, boom. You understand? That could be a something, because besides that, I think that's another way to spread the word, where people can learn how to do things on their own.
On their own, correct.
On their own, and be like, oh, shoot, what does he have next? And that's another way that not just expose your brand, but educate someone who can attend.
Yeah. Who can't, because now post-COVID, post-pandemic,
yes.
You know, if you
well,
believe
no,
in
because
that,
I might find out about what you're doing, but I don't live in New York. Correct. I might live in Buffalo, upstate New York. And I can still figure out how to check you out.
And when I think of infused foods, is there anything off limits?
Not really, because we found ways to infuse many things. We don't personally, but you can nano-infuse water. There's nano-infused water. You can infuse sugar. Before. So you can add cannabis just about to just about any type of food.
And it has the same type of strength or the same feeling?
Well, no. So that comes into play. So you need to know the right details and the right information and have the right knowledge as to what you're doing and practice so that you could get it done properly. Because there's going to be
there's a science to it.
There's going to be there's a science to it. There's a formula.
So, like, if I was to say, like, you could scale, let's say, a typical. Yeah, you have these are some of your products, correct?
Right.
This is a pre-roll.
Correct.
So you could scale. You could tell me exactly how much of the which one is
THC is what
makes you
high. Prior to our time now, Chris, or to this era, we thought that THC percentage meant everything.
Right.
It turns out that that's false.
Okay.
Just like we thought, and a lot of people believe, that Indica makes you sleepy and Sativa makes you happy.
Right.
That's also false.
Okay.
Most flowers are hybrids anyway, and there's hardly any Sativas or Indica land races left, in the nation, almost worldwide.
So is it a placebo effect? Is that what it is today? Because
there you go. That's the right
telling
term.
you, because everyone, when they talk that Indica, or I'm bad with all these terminology. I know it, but again, to say it is always my issues. But those two things, Sativa and Indica, right?
Right.
One makes you sleepy, one makes you happy.
That's no longer.
And then the hybrid is a mix of both of them.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is, when I go out, say West, because that's where I hear it the most. I'm out in L.A. and all these people that go to them shops, and they say, I want to feel this way. I don't want this because I don't want to be down. I want to be up. And you're saying it doesn't really matter.
They're reacting more, what you mentioned before, to the placebo effect.
Yeah.
What affects you most in the cannabis
is that the branding?
Is the terpenes. It's the marketing and branding. That's where that comes in. The terpenes and the cannabinoids that are in that flower. How fresh is that flower? Was it cured properly? What terpenes are still active in that flower? Myrcene, limonene, pinene, etc. There are so many terpenes and so much information to go over that we would need to do a series with this. This can't be a one-time conversation.
We're just touching on certain things that cross my mind. Especially to me, I'm the perfect person because I'm the non-user.
Right.
It's almost like you could convert me, right? I'm open. I
You're
never
a virgin,
did it.
we would call
Again,
you,
if someone's smoking, they're gonna keep smoking, so it's easier to sell them something in that space.
Correct.
What you're trying to do is grow a business. You need guys like me to say, man, that makes sense. Let me try that. Correct. So that's what the questions is coming from me. I'm trying to open that up from my perspective. And when I think about what you're saying, my concern is, do you know how high I will get? That's why I keep asking, what part of the cannabis makes you get high?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Now, cannabis, the part that makes you get high is what we mentioned before, the terpenes and the cannabinoids. Now, the infused foods, you react differently to this than you do to a joint. How much cannabis you're getting from the infused food, that information belongs and is privy from the manufacturer, purveyor, chef, etc. So depending on the type of extraction, infusion, that's how you would know how much you're getting. So the lemonade that you had, you only had maybe 4 to 5 milligrams.
Yes,
very
small.
Very light. Now that would be appetizing. That would whet your appetite and help you out and give you the munchies at our event. So you have that in the beginning. That's how we open you up. That's kind of like a sambuca, right?
Yeah, before you eat.
You get a little something to get you going, right?
Get that palate ready.
Right, exactly, to prepare your palate. And you have something in all...
I love what you're saying.
You have something in your body, and we have it in all of our bodies. It's called an endo-cannabinoid system.
Okay.
We have endo-cannabinoid receptors.
Yes.
CB1 receptors. Now, this is new information that we're still learning and researching, and this is now just coming out to the light. But you have a system that is ready to receive cannabis and cannabinoids. Now, it's up to us to learn and to tap into that system.
The question is, you said it's a system. So our system isn't ready to receive morphine. See, I'm just saying that so the listeners understand.
Yes. Your body is not...
Your body's not ready to receive these other narcotics, cocaine and things of that nature, but your body is ready to receive.
Right.
What did you call it?
Cannabinoids.
Cannabinoids.
Cannabinoids
very interesting. That's a very,
cannabis.
Very important fact, man. That is a very important fact from a scientific standpoint. That should be the reason that it's legalized everywhere with no barriers.
Questions.
Because of what it helps the human being do. It connects everything that we are. We're creative creatures. We all came here to create, so it taps into an idea aspect where you can go into the universe and snatch ideas, which there's no original ideas we're adding. So I think that's really one of the triggers of that, and why your body would be ready to receive that from a plant that is grown from nature, not stomped on, not done anything to. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's about that. I think to me that's where we're at with this, where you can't fight it anymore. It's too many good things to go for.
Right.
It can do so many things, and then
we're just scratching the surface.
And when I hear you say you're learning, I realize that you're also, this is such beginning stages in this new industry that you're constantly learning in order to teach others.
Educate, right. I'm constantly educating.
Just like us, we're going through the same thing.
Yeah,
the more you know, the more they come.
We have to constantly educate ourselves, because prior to, let's say, the last 2-3 years, I have a brother who lives in Colorado, and he's a grower. And he knows all about that. I cannot compare myself to him.
You saying you have a black friend that's...
I have a brother. Well, he's my brother from my dad's side.
We're all brothers, brother.
Yeah, correct. But so he's an expert on his side, on the grow, the agriculture side. And a lot of the information that I've received in the past 5-6 years has been directly from him. And he's always, I used to ask him, what's the THC percentage you think in this? And he'd say, don't be stupid. That doesn't matter. That's all bullshit. It's about the cannabis. It's about the terpenes. Smell it. Look at the trichomes. The little crystals. Yes. Look at the flower. How does it look? Some people have an eye for that. Some don't. So that's why I tell people, if your weed is so good, you should have a see-through bag.
He could tell that from looking just at the bud.
Just by looking at the flower. Obviously, you want to have it in front of you instead of through picture, because big photos don't really do justice, and sometimes they could be altered. But when you look at flower in person, in the daytime, in the sunlight,
you see
the trichomes on it, the little pistils, those little crystals that are on there. You see the flower itself tells you what it is. It should be telling you. The smell should be telling you. What scientists now are saying is that the terpenes that agree with you, like when you smell certain weed and you like it, you know that weed that you smell? Oh, I like that.
Yes.
That's the weed that agrees with you. Those terpenes are speaking to you. And vegetation has terpenes, tomatoes, lemons, pineapples.
I like all of those smells, though. That's crazy. Like when I smell the weed, when I smell it, the flower, I like the smell of it. I like the aroma of it.
So we want to match terpenes. So
you're saying I should be smoking
with the foods. You should definitely be consuming some kind of cannabinoids.
Look at my man.
Maybe to help you sleep. You know?
Yeah.
We have a tincture here. Can I grab this?
Sure, yeah.
So this is a tincture of one of our in-house brands, Bud Tender. Shout out to Bud Tender. We're providing education, knowledge, and quality products to people in New York and New Jersey for now. So this tincture here, usually tincture, Dinero, is alcohol extraction. Now, this isn't just alcohol. This has coconut oil and stearic acid to help it settle and to be liquidy. But you can take this out and open it, and if I could just have your left hand right there. So this is like a grasita, like an aceitico, which in Spanish means like a oil.
He can't get high without me.
There you go. So you can go ahead and rub that on your fingertips right there. That's not going to get you high, but it helps with joint pain as a topical solution, and it also helps with adding it to foods. So for lack of sleep, tincture basically is the alcohol extraction of cannabis. Now, because this one has coconut oil and the stearic acid to stabilize it, and et cetera, this won't sting you. So we've been educating couples, just like my wife and I, to use this in the bedroom.
Oh, man.
Because your erogenous zones, right, nipples and et cetera, right, the erogenous zones have thousands and thousands of nerve endings.
Yes.
So you could use this as a semi-lubricant.
Not just the nipples.
You could use this, correct, not just the nipples. You could
Don't
use
forget
this
about us.
on your sex organs, and this will enhance and entice your sexual encounter right then and there.
So just throw the shit on.
Is it edible? That's what I'm saying.
This is also edible. You can
because
add this
that's the thing. When you mentioned it was like, you know.
So you can add this to.
Shit might get crazy.
You can add this to drink, food, whatever.
Yo, so let me get this shit. Let me see. So those for you guys out there that are ass eaters, so you go like that,
ass eaters,
and you drop a couple in the hole.
Inside.
No.
You said in the hole. You said in the hole.
Well, you know, you try to aim when you're not putting that thing inside. The hole. That's the hole.
Well, remember they were putting Molly up the hole.
Well,
remember that?
Of
remember
course.
they were putting Molly up the hole?
But you know why?
But this is not Molly. This is natural.
That's natural.
The reason they was doing it is faster to the blood. Faster to the bloodstream.
So we had a patient, rest in peace, one Jeff Oakes, who
so that's the same idea.
Was an activist, a cannabis activist here in Jersey, and he would make RSO, Rick Simpson oil, you know the RSO?
Okay.
It's like an alcohol extraction. And he would make RSO suppositories. So basically THC weed suppositories, and they go up the hole.
Yeah.
Because he was a cancer patient, he needed this to open up his appetite,
right, so he could
to help him sleep, for pain, right, to get pain relief. And he used it up until the very last day he was with us on this earth. Rest in peace,
Wow.
Jeff T. Oakes, Big Oak. So there you go. There's no limit to how you could benefit.
Yeah, I think we're at the beginning
The only
stages
question, again, I'm coming from a non-user, because, most users want to get very high. They don't care.
It depends on the person.
So a non-user is like, what limit would you be able to say?
There you go. Dosage is very important.
Yeah, because you don't want to have someone that's a non-user try it, the next they tripping out or something.
Bad experience.
Because
so
then you just lost one.
That's where our events come in, Dinero, right? Where at our events, we speak to people about finding your dosage. Right. California recommends, and California's had cannabis legal first than every other state in the United States, and they've got a little bit better research, allegedly. Don't kill me, my East Coast
I will believe it. I believe it.
They've been in the game longer. So.
That's all.
But California doesn't allow now any of these edibles to be on the shelf to be over 100 milligrams because people have had bad experiences.
Right.
Now, some of the guys watching this or hearing this, they'll be like, I need at least 200. I need 250, 300.
So you got to eat two.
But, that
Do
depends.
the math.
That's relative. It depends on what type of infusion.
Okay.
Right? But the reality is that you need to know what is the right dosage. So we want you to go light, right? You see the lemonade that we introduced you to, that's very light because it's in my best interest that you have a good experience and you tell others, hey, listen, I met with Manny, I had this, XYZ, ABC, it was great. As opposed to Harry, Bob,
tell you
or
about
Jack, be like,
negative.
hey, listen, I'll never eat edibles. I ate a whole brownie and I was shivering in the corner for 3 hours. Yeah. We don't want that. That's the wrong experience.
Not for not. That's the experience we
not
guys
if you
are looking
get high.
for.
Some people.
Hey, where's that brownie that's gonna have me shivering?
Want to get high? Give me one of these guys.
Yo, Chris keeps calling me. I can't pick up, bro. And I'm talking to Chris.
Have you seen my phone? There's people like, yo, have you seen my phone? And the phone is right in there.
See my phone? Where are my sneakers at? I need them.
I need my phone.
Oh, man.
Yo, give me my phone. Yo, have you seen my phone?
Yeah, call me.
Yo, have you seen my phone? Yo, shit, I got an hour looking for my phone.
That's what I'm looking for.
That's what I'm looking for. So let me ask a question: when it comes to catering, like, because these events you're having sound like private events, then would you cater? Like, if I wanted to do a house party, would you cater the house party?
Yes, of course. We could cater a house party. It doesn't all have to be infused.
It doesn't.
And then we can have a small selection that is infused.
So when you do these dinner parties, you're creating the whole menu. Are you cooking dinner with the infused?
Yes, we had a
food.
Brazilian dinner back in December, I believe, or January, and it was we had a samba dancer. We had picanha. You've been to a rodizio before? You know the picanha.
Was the samba dancer infused?
They bring out nothing but meat all night. Right. And it's like,
we had the cheese bread, pau de queijo. That was all infused. We had the green rice. We had the pudim de leite, which is just Brazilian flan.
Sure.
And all of that was infused.
So you're infusing the meat as well.
Everything. We're using cannabinoids.
I'm not gonna lie. My curiosity is peaking because it's like, damn, what do you? I'm curious to see the taste of it, and then of course the sensation,
the reaction, right?
Yeah, what happens?
You know,
after.
you just.
I have smoked before. I tell everyone. I said I have smoked again before, and it's not like I don't smoke. I just choose not to. Like it never made me want to.
Okay.
I never felt anything from it. Right? I never felt high. I never felt, look, my producer here, she's finished the whole cake. She loves what you brought in, your infused cake.
Yeah, the producers are definitely on the cake.
They're going crazy.
I think she loves
let me
cake.
Explain this to you.
But, me personally, I never felt high or anything, so it made me say, why am I going to do it?
Yeah, but listen,
I'd love to have you at our dinner. I'd love to have you at our dinner.
You said something that I just, I'm always a creative guy, so I'm always, I'm single, so I don't really got a lot of pickup lines. You know what's a dope pickup line at one of his parties? Say, hey, baby.
I never.
Would you like to infuse my meat? Woo, I got one.
Infuse my meat. Pause.
Sweetie.
Pause on that.
Yeah. But you understand, like, for me, it's like.
So at our dinner, we infuse the foods according to the person, according to the consumer. Right. So we don't want you to overindulge, or we don't like to use the word OD, overdose, but that would literally be the term. Right. We don't want to over-infuse you, right? We want you to have a pleasant experience.
And when, again, over-infusing somebody would mean it's still not like dope.
Right, it's still not.
You're not death. Is it death?
It's not death. No, there hasn't been.
Because overdose means death in my word, right?
Right.
So what I'm saying is what is it? You know what I mean?
So
where is the happy
it's just the
medium?
point where people.
They don't feel comfortable.
They might get too anxious. They might get paranoid.
Yeah, the paranoia aspect of it.
They don't have a pleasant experience. And that comes from not understanding what's going to happen. So it's usually inexperienced people that might have overconsumed, but we want to avoid that. So at our dinners, it's all about an introductory dose. It's all about opening you up to cannabinoids. It's all about you enjoying yourself. So we're going to take you to the point.
What kind of food are you having?
So we have Brazilian food. We have Latin food. I'm half Cuban, half Dominican.
Sure.
So congri, which is Cuban moro, right?
Was it the black beans, right? But already not separated. It's already
mixed into the rice.
Together.
Right, el congri, ropa vieja. We had ropa vieja. That was infused.
Wow.
Croquetas.
So you can
was infused.
That's more like a Caribbean type dinner. You can do Brazilian, it doesn't matter. You
pasta.
Can do okay.
We're not very limited, but we like to stay true to our roots. That's why we're called Delicias.
I say, because you order you're gonna get a Latin. It's a Latin theme. It's a Latin.
It's Latin.
That's
Latin,
their niche. That's your niche.
Right, Latin infused foods. It's a Latin fare with some American influence also.
And where are you located? Like, how does someone find you?
So we're in New Jersey and New York. We do events in both. And you can find me on Instagram, Manny_infused_chef, or Delicias for the people. Delicias is Spanish, 4, THEPPL.
How do you plan on expanding? Like, taking this to other regions?
So we would like to continue to take our...
You mentioned your sous chefs. They would have to take it and teach someone else.
Correct. We would like to expand our team and take these events on the road. So New York, New Jersey, Miami, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Cuba eventually, Spain. We have a trip that we want to set up for Spain this fall. And for the next Spanibus, because they have an event out there called Spanibus, Barcelona Spain is like the California of Europe.
Yes.
When it comes to cannabis. Huge on cannabis.
Wow.
Huge with the strains and the technological advancement of the industry.
What is a 420 cafe?
A 420 cafe.
Is this what you're creating?
That's what we're creating. A 420 cafe would be a place where you would consume, right?
They're
cannabis.
bowling upstairs.
Right,
Don't worry about
it.
it.
So a 420
There's a
cafe is a
gym
place
up there.
where you could consume cannabis products, and, you know, be in an ambiance with like-minded people where you're in a safe haven.
Did you get to open one up yet?
So we've started a couple of those events in different places, but because of legalization, we don't have a set location for that 420 cafe. The place we have now is Mount Vernon.
We wanted to do a green room. You know, like if you went to an event, like if you're a celebrity, it was the green room that you stayed in, but now because of weed being legalized, we're gonna just call it
the green room,
like which would be your 420 cafes. It's just the green room,
right?
So, and have them all over.
Well, our space in Mount Vernon, you're more than welcome to come up there. We'll have you there anytime. Yeah. It's for private affairs, also private events. So if it's just you and your people, you let me know how many people you're coming with. You book us. We let you know what fare we can get going for you, your menu, and it could be infused or non-infused.
My man Dex is like, yes.
Dex wants to get with it.
Oh, man. I'm curious. Like I said, I'm curious. And then, again, if the food is good, I think the experience will have to be good.
Yeah.
I don't think it would go bad.
Yeah, at our event, it's not just about people getting sloshed.
Right.
You know, we want people to have a good time, but we also want to inform them.
When you say sloshed, how sloshed?
Sloshed like zonked, you know, like passed out somewhere.
Oh, no, you know, no, because you can't enjoy. No.
Right, you're not enjoying yourself.
I want to be in the corner paranoid because I ate 12 cakes.
Coming to get you.
Huh? And then I'm smoking at the same time.
So we usually have entertainment, right, at our events, at our dinners.
Live entertainment?
Live entertainment, live music. We had like a cover band.
We
had the samba dancer at the Brazilian dinner.
Girls, so it was like dancing girls.
We had karaoke. We had an infused karaoke last month. And then there's a time where we do an informative chat where we answer people's questions, like about Indica and Sativa, where we bring out some of these products and let people know this is this and this is that. Like what you had was infused with tincture, with an alcohol tincture, similar to this, okay? So that's infused tincture. But what they had in the cake jars is butter or vegetable oil infused. That's honey. That's infused honey.
Infused honey.
Add this to your
so
tea.
let me ask you a question. You buy the honey?
Right. You would source the honey locally.
You would outsource the honey?
You source the honey
locally. And then you
locally.
infuse it. Interesting.
And that's the lotion. That's a good topical solution for pain, joint pain, rheumatoid arthritis. I got some of that for my mom.
Lotion,
it helps
you gotta
her.
be careful with lotion. Is it safe? Get those in the wrong hands and someone's in trouble.
Literally the wrong hands.
Now, what are these right here? These are pre-rolls.
Those are two of the pre-rolls that are on our menu.
This is black label?
And the other one's the gold label.
And the gold label.
Right. Those are made and curated by Bud Tender.
What's the difference in the two?
Just the level of flower. The black label would be like a top shelf. The gold label would be like a high-end type shelf, more exotic.
Oh, I got you.
You know, like the same way black label liquor, black label Johnny Walker, or gold label Johnny Walker. And then we also have the blue label, which I think we gave to my man Dex. And the blue label is in that glass tube. I think you got it back there somewhere. So that one is an infused pre-roll, where it's covered with keef on the outside and also concentrate distillate. There it goes right there.
That's it. Blue label.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is great. I really like the business. And you're 6 years in, and it's growing. So, in order to, your next plans, you said, was to go into different markets, right?
Right. We want to take our informative show on the road, and hopefully, not hopefully, but we would like to eventually get our products into stores where people can consume our infused products, not just the traditional brownie, crispy, cookie kind of thing.
So do you use a grower? You connected with a grower?
Yes and no. A couple, yes, and some others, no.
But why would that be the right connection or no?
That would be a great connection, yes. Not every grower is going to grow the same way every time, Not every grow is going to be consistent. There's a lot of variables. But we are in tune with local growers. We want to support our local people who have been doing this for decades. The East Coast has been running their own strains and their own grows.
I was going to, because I know we have a relationship with Loud City Farms, which is out in Oregon, right? And that's the only reason I bring it up. I always like to maybe
I was telling him before.
Yeah, we definitely want to collaborate with the right people, and that's something that we would talk about. Yeah, of course.
So how do you deal with the agent that brings the client to you?
You got a percentage. Everybody's got to eat, right? To sit down at the table, you can't eat by yourself, man.
No, but I really like this business. And for me, it would be the taste of the food. I'm really not worried about getting high. If I got high, I think the world would be in trouble. Seriously, I'm already high. I live my life high. So at the end of the day, the stimulant, I don't really feel it was a need. It never felt like a need for me.
Mike Tyson said if he would have gotten high when he was younger, he would have never lost a fight.
If he what?
He would have never lost a fight. He said the one time he fought high, he destroyed the guy, broke his spleen, did all. So, because now he says, I should have fought. I would have never lost the fight high. I was so focused. I was, you know what I'm saying? Like you could imagine. So I think there's so many benefits to creative people.
Just watched the interview with Kevin Durant, and he was saying, he was with David Letterman. So it's a recent one when David got his beard and everything, not while he was on the late night show.
Netflix, right? Yeah.
And he was talking with Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant was basically saying it helps him play.
Yeah, I believe him.
You know? And again, it's so commonly used, I don't think the NBA checks for it anymore.
Right.
And they shouldn't.
I've heard something like that. And I've heard that.
And they shouldn't. Now, they can check for the... Listen to me, they can check for the other...
Listen, I realized when the NCAA said they're not suspending any before for cannabis, you could not test positive. You lose your scholarship.
Hey,
now it's like, hey, make sure it's not.
That's the black community, buddy. Give us our credit.
Yeah, no, that's the hip hop.
That's the power. No, and I'm making a joke out of it, but there's so many guys that are doing it of color.
Yes.
Black and brown. It doesn't matter.
You're right, though.
If we took them out, if the NCAA or the NFL or the NBA started saying, there would be no league. There would be no game.
See, but I think also because the NCAA leads on the science had them whooped. Because there's not one see, they can't. Remember, when you go to any situation in a court of law, you have to add your mitigating factors. If your mitigating factors outweigh your aggravating factors, not guilty, you're good. So there's very few aggravating factors for you to argue against cannabis. You cannot. And then they show up with 65,000 mitigating factors. Good for this arthritis, this. Put that in your judge. Put that in your wife's anal and you're popping, judge.
See what happens.
Stop the bullshit. You know. So, oh shit! Hey, it's legal. That's why it's legal. That's why it's so legal. Now we're still waiting. You know the reason I tell my partner, me and Chris discuss, you're sitting on a gold mine. Why? States. Out of the 50-something states, only about 30 have leaned over right now, little by little. You're going to have them old school. Alabama's never going to change. They're going to fight it to the end because they're just some old school country motherfuckers. I love you, Alabama, but I'm talking about them white folks, right? They not, them old folks is not going to change. Super conservative. I understand. I'm not knocking how they view it. They just kind of lost a little bit where we're, not just liberals, we're progressively going as human beings, right? And then you have when the Federukis finally say, hey, we're going to take it from that level. It's not cocaine. It's not heroin. Wakata. Yep. Oh, my God. You basically struck oil is what you did. Right? I told him the same thing. That's why I love for you to meet my partner from a farm sample because it's basically you struck oil. This is green oil. This is going to be an entire different ball game, and it's going to change, and it's helping people. See, the reason this industry is going to go forward is because, for example, my son plays professional basketball and he smokes, but because he's my son, I know what I pass along to him is that anxiety, right? So he needs, if he didn't smoke, forget about it. Right? He'd go crazy. I understand. I'm the same way. I need to smoke in order just to sit here. I get some Cuban coffee, you see me right there, and I hit that blunt when I get to my office. Now I'm ready to go. Right? It just focuses me, you know, and me and Chris says this. I have ADD to the left, 10,000 power. Yeah, that shit levels me out at least.
Yeah, I'm
if
intense
not, I'd be terrible.
Kind of like wired and all that.
Yes.
Always moving.
But they have studies that show football players, you know, with the concussions and the CTE and all of that, they have studies that show that CBN, which is one of the cannabinoids, and THCA and these other cannabinoids and CBG have affected positively neurons and brain cells. And so they're talking about how cannabis has helped a lot of football players to recover from these, you know,
brain injuries and
that kind of thing. So maybe if Aaron Hernandez, you know, was able to smoke more blunts on a regular basis, maybe he wouldn't have killed someone.
Well, there's just some shit.
Maybe. We don't know.
Yeah,
speculating.
There's just some shit cannabis is not good. Yeah. You know, I seen something the other day that was a little bit crazy, and then we think about this, but there was a female saying, "Hey, I want to talk to a lot of you moms out there." And this was crazy. She goes, I'm about to say hard. She goes, "I'm going to keep it 100. Y'all raising a lot of killers." No, young men, the amount of young murderers, right? That there's just, she was basically saying, what are you guys doing? Like, you feel me? Maybe you need to smoke. Maybe you need to so what I'm saying is that the cannabis can help, especially we say our community that help bring it to market. Now there's a lot of people that don't look like us owning stuff and coming into the business and saying, hey, by the way, from a legislation standpoint, let's not forget about the Spanish and black guy who kind of blew it up. Make sure that there's a little bit minority money, and they're taking the bigger bag.
Listen,
out of all the hard work. Welcome to America. Right? But it's too many positives. It's too many positives. You're on the right track, Manny. That title, you know, like I said, eventually you should call yourself the master infusing chef, and then teach others and continue to build and continue to help people, because you're Chris mentioned why people would take an opioid or something from a doctor, because it comes back to the trust and loyalty aspect of it in our society. See, when you go to Cuba, the hard part about everyone's educated, but in Cuba the doctor makes $22 a month or $32. That doesn't add up here. When you look at a doctor, the reason we respect doctors, lawyers, so forth, because we understand the amount of time they took to become a doctor, the schooling and everything else. So we say, hey, you know something? There's no way that guy will give me some shit that'll fuck me up.
Right.
But we forgot that we live in capitalism.
Right.
Right? So there's money. There's about money. The pharmaceutical industry are using these doctors in order to pitch these things. Now, here you come, and you're a different type of doctor, right? You're still serving medicine. You're doing it through food, which we must consume every day, and you're not making people sick. There are no side effects, and I think that you're on the right track as a family. You're on the right track to build an incredible business.
Thank you.
Yeah, is it hard to find clients? Or no? It's all word of mouth.
It's all mostly word of mouth and social media.
Yeah,
it's word of mouth and social media, and a Greek philosopher said, "Let food be thy medicine."
Ache.
And so
that's what it is.
We're using that. We're trying to empower ourselves and each other through this infused foods with this product.
I have a quick question, because he mentioned from a customer standpoint, how many repeats? So let's say if on average, anyone that purchases your cake, because I know you got a customer for life over there. So someone that purchases your cake or purchases something, what are the aspects from the food? I know the flour, usually the flour repeaters a lot, but from the food aspect, what is the 10 people? Let's say on the average, 10 people buy your, what's the average return on the customer coming back and reordering or rebuying?
About 80% of people.
Oof, that's awesome. I mean,
it's on the comeback, right?
No, but that's
everything.
That customer retention. And then they'll tell someone else, because they came in here raving. I don't know what you did to Yvette and to Dex, but they were like, so much that you're here.
They loved it.
Well, so much that you're here interviewing, but they left. Listen, I didn't know who you was, so I was giving them a hard time. If he would have said he's Cuban, it would have been green light all day. You ain't shit, homie. He kept that out. He kept that out because he knew the minute
he didn't tell you Latin nothing.
Well, I didn't.
He knew the minute he said Cuban, he lost the connect. He's mine. He already knew it. He already knew it. Next time when he calls him, he's gonna tell him call Dinero.
He jumped his fence.
He's gonna be like, yo, you want to talk to me? Call Dinero.
Yeah. But again, Manny, I want to any other things that you want to talk about with your any endeavors that we didn't go through?
What I want to say is that we want to break the stigma and the paradigms that people have against cannabis and cannabis consumers and cannabis consumption.
Probably fears, right? Fears and shit that they might have.
You're right, prejudices, you know, all of those things. We want people to understand, our parents, our neighbors, Latinos,
That's it.
Black and brown, African American brothers, people from the islands, South American, Central American. We want them to know that this is a product that is safer than a lot of the over-the-counter stuff that you buy. Now, am I saying it's safe for you to give your children edibles? I did not say that. No. Okay, that's not what we're saying.
Unless you're going out Friday night, you don't have a babysitter you could drop. They used to give Benadryl, pop an edible. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
They used to give kids
you know what's
Benadryl.
crazy? Look, he mentioned parents and everything. So my mother, she's 88. And yeah, thank you. But she's from a big family. She didn't want her kids smoking. Weed was the gateway. I lost 2 uncles to heroin, not weed. So that blue magic, they grew up in Harlem. So it was really that blue magic. You know, that's a real story. That's not no fake story. But they both started from weed. So she didn't want her kids because she sees it as a gateway drug. And that's one of the areas that you probably have to educate and make them understand better. Because if I talk to my mother and give her all the good sides, she still doesn't hear. But she's set in her ways. But someone else might change and hear it out.
Right. So we have studies that show that marijuana isn't a gateway drug. We have people who we've worked with on the program who are recovering addicts from different opioids and heroin, cocaine, and pills, and all of that, methamphetamines. So who have used cannabis to help them in treatment while getting off of those drugs. And eventually weaning off of them completely, as opposed to Suboxone, methadone, and that sort of thing.
If I'm on your end, on your side. I believe it's more helpful than hurtful, and it should be consumed and legal and done everywhere and anywhere whoever wants to use it. I've seen some of the effects it had on autistic kids, like. I have an autistic nephew, so I know the value of some of this stuff from a different standpoint. And when I say a gateway drug, a reason I wouldn't say it's not a gateway drug, right? I'm just giving you a different way to attack it.
Right.
The gateway drug means I started here. That's what they really mean. So if you're open, the minute I'm open to start getting high, I may become open to try ecstasy or something else. That's what they mean gateway. It's not that you smoked cannabis or weed or whatever you want to call it and then said, nah, I got to get this now. No, it was the opening of yourself saying, I'm open to trying this. Maybe I'll try that too. Maybe I'll try this. You know, I'll take a pill. And that to me is what gateway is. So in order to fight it, I don't want to go against them. I would say you're right. It is, but this is a good drug, not a bad drug. Like, it's almost taking it away from them if you do it that way. If you fight them and say it's not a gateway drug, they're going to explain it like I just did and say it is a gateway drug.
It was almost like a marketing campaign against marijuana, and that was one of the things that they used, that propaganda about being a bit. And like anything else, mind you, they never did it with alcohol, which is the true gateway to every other drug.
And cigarettes.
No one wants to say
that. But they've never at it. You know, I'm gonna say something that I don't mean, it's not necessarily racist, but it's just kind of truth. And you see that it's happening with the AR-15s and the.
They're getting it in.
I learned a long time ago that this is honest. Only the white man can profit from pain.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. If I created a product that you use to kill a bunch of people,
that shit is so real, man.
Yo, but listen, listen. If I created alcohol that kills, and just the way the way the system
you created something like that.
Yo, the way the system is set up, is the only one that can profit for pain is someone who's not, say, of our ancestry.
Reefer Madness and the propaganda against cannabis did come from a racist standpoint where white folks didn't want their white daughters going in bed with black men or Mexicans. And that was literally the slogans, the headlines in their news, because prior to 1950-something, everyone had a cannabis something in their, what we call botequín, a.k.a. medicine cabinet.
Right.
That's right.
And then they started saying that the Sinsemilla, I don't pronounce the double L, that would take white girls to bed with colored men. Mm-hmm. And this is all part of history.
Yeah, that's part of the propaganda.
It's all in there, propaganda, reefer madness.
What they're leaving out is those white girls wanted to be with the men, and this is what made them put their fear away. And that's all it did. It put the fear back so they could do it because they were so afraid.
Now they're with the minority men out in the open or behind closed doors or through those dating apps.
Now they're the Kardashians.
Keep mixing those races. It doesn't matter.
Well, I think societies have continued
the
to...
Kardashian.
That's the Kardashian effect,
Societies have continued to move forward. I think the powers that be will raise their kids from a powers that be conservative standpoint. But societies will move. I think we're in a lot better place today than we were, say, 10 years ago.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure 20 years ago we will. With racism and them things, I think we're, as a society of human beings, I think we're all belong to a certain tribe regardless. And we're very protected of those tribes, whether it be based on color of skin, religion, whatever it is. And as we start, the beautiful thing about America is that it's the only country that is a true melting pot, right? If you go to Russia, I would say everyone's from Russia, always been, here, no one's from here. It's the only country that no one's really from here. Not even the white people aren't from here. They're from Ireland, or they're from England, or they're from somewhere else. Right. So, I think that's where we're at with it. And I just think that marijuana, again, anything that had to do, when you look at us as Latinos, the reason we call ourselves the plug and we're the plug is because the plug, not talking about marijuana, basically cocaine, right? Cocaine comes from Colombia, Latinos, and all that. So we're just looking at a movement that now, with this cannabis movement, I think that it's going to make a lot of people a fortune. It's gonna be like hip hop, just it was gonna make families like you change, what's your life and what you go.
Right. That's absolutely right.
So.
But again, this is a great. I wish you all the success with this business.
Definitely.
Thank you.
I'm going to be very interested in keeping up with you. I know Dex and Yvette is going to be on me to make sure we do that event at your space. Yeah. And I'm sure, we could get together. But I'm going to definitely talk to, like I said, Glenn, and we'll talk off air.
Yes.
But I want to thank you for coming up.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get off your social media, what's your social media?
My social media is Manny, MANNY _ Infused, INFUSED _ chef, CHEF. So Manny _ Infused _ chef on Instagram. And Delicias for the people. I'm sure you guys could use like an image to close out.
Yeah, we could definitely.
Because the spelling is in Spanish.
Delicias.
For the people, because we've always
We're going to try all of this shit tonight. We love
Chris gonna be popping gummies, sipping on stuff, talking about, hey, I don't feel nothing.
What am I supposed to be feeling around here?
Wow, California's so dope. Chris, you're in Jersey. Oh, okay.
I made it. But I want to thank you again. And again, this is Chris Gotti Lorenzo, Don Dinero.
You already know.
And this is Giving Them the Business.
Swagada.